I wanted a dog for like 10 years and never had one. But I've always really liked assistance dogs. And I remember talking to my boss about it, who's here as well. We talked about assistance dogs a lot. And then one day she brought home this little black Labrador and asked me if I wanted to have him for a sleepover. And then 2 years later, he became WA's first accredited PTSD assistance dog. So when we saw this topic on the list, we just thought, we have to do this as well. We have to make a film about this. We just lived with one of these dogs for like 2 years, and I just know how much these dogs can impact someone's life and really change it for the better. So just thought we had to put this film out there and really show how it all started with Arnold Cook as well.
Mm-hmm. And so of course, as well as, you know, sort of seeing dogs, seeing eye dogs and assistance dogs, there is now a whole plethora of different tasks that dogs can help people with.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, the dogs, they can do so many different things, and I've now worked with dogs maybe 5 years, and I've seen all the kinds of dogs that help people, but definitely these days now, there's dogs that help people with basically anything.
And WA Reflections is an attempt to spotlight, as Susan was saying, interesting stories from WA's past. How satisfying was it for you to come upon Arnold Cook's story from our collection? Did you know about Arnold Cook before?
I didn't actually know about Arnold Cook. I always thought that the guide dog started in Melbourne because that's where the centre is now and everything, but it was quite amazing to actually see how many things actually have come out of WA, and it was even cooler to see that the guide dog started here in WA, because that's something that I'm really interested in.
How much of the collection, the archive, how did it help to kind of really start you guys thinking about how you were going to frame this story? Can I get one of the others, so either Kelvin or Michelle, to talk a little bit about that?
There was incredible archival assets the library had. It was incredibly preserved and detailed. There were letters, there were write-ups, there were photographs, and obviously you can see the film as well. It was so well preserved. Honestly, we didn't know where to start and what to choose, because there were so many facets of the story that could be told in different ways. But we thought, what better way than to show the actual archival footage and the newspaper clippings to actually mark his journey from him going to London and coming back with the guide dogs, and actually showing what it was like back then and how he actually has impacted our lives and all his legacy today.
Well, I think we can all agree that the film really just gave us a glimpse into the everyday life challenges faced by people with vision impairment, navigating a society which doesn't always make adequate spaces for their voices to be heard. Do you think that this was part of the reason that you chose to make this film? Kelvin?
Yes, I think, like I mentioned, it just coincided with the fact that she was already training the first WA trained assistance dog and trainer, and Arnold were the first Australian guide dogs. But more importantly,
just hold your microphone up a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hope everyone can hear at the back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool, thanks. So yeah, it just coincided with that fact, and then the question is, what story are we going to tell? Because when we went to the library and looked through the archives, there was a very, very big story there. It spanned 50 to 70 years, and you've only got 7 minutes. So how do you put that 50 years in 7 minutes? And you can't. And so we had to find a way to tell or choose parts of the story that would fit into that 7 minutes, and what better way than the beginning. I mean, there's a lot of things that we could have showed, but it wouldn't have made sense without the beginning. So maybe we see this as the first part of the bigger story. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Claire, are you happy with the outcome? I'm so sorry, they all have to share one microphone. We can't kind of hogging mine.
I really like the final outcome. I think it's really good, but I also think there's just so much more to touch on with this topic as well. There's a lot that we had to cut out, and I just think that 7 minutes is not enough to tell the whole story. There's just so much more, but I'm happy with the final outcome, but yeah, there's just more.
So why were you restricted to 7 minutes? Why did you?
I think what we're going to do is we're going to hold questions up right until the end, and that will be the first question, if that's okay. So I just wanted to kind of bring in both Tiana and Eric now, and it's really important for us to kind of see that when you actually hear somebody's story themselves, it's so much easier to kind of be in that person's place and actually be able to kind of really understand. So Eric, I know that in the film you talked first about how you were managing without, but it was something quite traumatic that then really made you think about, you know, sort of how to move forward. I'm going to pass you my microphone, it's just here.
The question, how this made a difference to me in my life. I think the impact that incident had with walking into the boom of the cement truck, it was just something that if I didn't make a difference in the way that I went about my life, I would have to shut down. And I enjoy doing so many things. There's so much to life that I appreciate, and I don't think that was an option. So, the opportunity to learn about guide dogs and move forward, it really enhanced my life. It made that so much better.
Thank you. And Tiana, what about you? You talked a little bit about how it was difficult you moved back to WA and it was difficult to navigate. Sort of you didn't feel that you wanted to really sort of go out very much. What made you decide that you were going to get a seeing eye dog?
What made me decide to get a seeing eye dog is because as much as I do and did enjoy using a cane, it's just not the same with if you compare the cane with a guide dog or a seeing eye dog. With the cane, I'm a lot slower, and I don't have the confidence to walk as fast as I would like to walk. And even with the cane, I feel like with the cane, I feel like people are not comfortable to approach you as much as they are when you do have a dog, because everyone sees Shada and the first thing they say, "Oh, you've got such a cute dog," and that starts a conversation. So I feel like with the dog, it's always been I guess better with the dog.
And I was thinking about this when I came into work this afternoon. I was thinking about that and what you'd said on the film, which is that it is difficult, people don't approach you, and so there is a distance that's there. And so having a dog with you, it always makes people stop. Did it help you to, and I think part of the reason for that, and I was musing on that, was that I think often it's not that people don't want to approach you, but I think people feel perhaps they don't know what to say, they don't know what to do, and having a dog by your side, it's a distraction and it's a way of actually opening up. Eric, you spoke about that in the film, about how actually, sort of Nora is a therapy dog at work.
Definitely. She brings a lot of light to our workplace and in the community as well. But I think more so than allowing the opportunity for people to offer their help, it in a way gives me the confidence to ask for help when I need it. And whether it's in the grocery store or public transport or finding my way in here this afternoon, I needed some additional help. Me and Nora had it, and we could have figured it out, but I was able to ask a random stranger walking past to say, "Excuse me, can you help me find the library?" And although he didn't notice that I was blind at first, because he pointed and said, "It's over there."
He was talking to Nora.
So I think that's one of those things that it just allows that open conversation, and it's so valuable.
Yeah, great. What about you, Tayana? Let me ask you the question again. So it's really just about, sort of you becoming more approachable, funnily enough, becoming a little bit more visible because you've got a dog.
Yeah, so having a dog has made people approach me a lot more than, using a cane. And I think as well, like I said, because she looks so cute and everything, and people are more comfortable to come up to me and approach me, and also like Eric said, asking for help, it's also given me the confidence to ask for help, and people are more, I'd say more willing to help when they see a cute dog by my side. So, yeah.
And what were your reasons for getting involved with this project?
Me?
Yeah, Tayana, you go first.
I think my reasons, first I would say I wanted to share my experience and my story. Secondly, I would say I wanted to highlight independence as a blind individual and also navigating everyday life with Shayla. And thirdly, I would say I wanted to challenge the stereotypes and misconceptions that are placed on me as a blind individual, but as well as on the community. And it's simple assumptions like when people see a blind person, they assume that we can't travel, study, do anything on our own. While we do these things every single day, and I believe it's conversations like this, documentaries like this that can change and help us rephrase the narrative and promote an accurate picture and better representation of us as a community.
I think that deserves a round of applause. Eric, what were your reasons for taking part in the film?
I think I was asked by Guide Dogs WA to join in with the project, and it was just something I love talking about guide dogs and the way that they've made a difference in my life, and I've got an incredible amount of respect for the amount of effort that goes into making the dogs as good as they are at what they do for us. So for me to be able to share my story and help improve the awareness in the community, it's just a way of giving back to the organisation, and also to give respect to the dogs and the people that have been involved. And I think also if there is another 75 years of guide dogs that at 150 years on from Arnold Cook, then I'm part of that checkpoint as well that says that things were being done in a really great way here in WA here in 2025.
Yeah, someone in the audience, when I was talking to people outside, said Arnold Cook was a hero because he kind of, sort of showed the East about guide dogs.
Yes.
So Guide Dogs WA started first, and then everything else followed on after that, which is pretty fantastic. I think Nora's just got up to say, take a bow.